everybody. This is StacyK of JustUS.org, and thanks for joining us on our YouTube channel. I'm here today with Leslie Mikus. She is a Younique consultant, and so today we're going to dig deep. Her story of sexual abuse survival first went live on Facebook, and so we're going to get to know who she is today, why the products, and how she's changing life with a beauty consultant business that God's gifted her with. How old were you when you were first exposed sexually by this gentleman?
I think I was around 5. I want to say I was around 5. And honestly, what I guess the red flags when they went up was when he was holding my sister. I'm the oldest of 3, and she's 18 months younger than me, and then my brother's 3 years younger than me. And from a very, very young age, my parents told me, as the oldest, you are the protector of your siblings, and you set the example. I was very, very, I took that very seriously, and so just he had a.
Was he living in your neighborhood? Was he your babysitter?
He was a close friend to the family. A close friend to the families. My family is from El Salvador, and we lived in New York, Long Island, New York. And a lot of folks back in the 80s, early 80s, moved to New York during a civil war in El Salvador. So they fled. And so most of them came as communities, and they all pretty much stayed in the same area in Long Island, New York, or Central Islip, where I was raised. And so he actually was a good friend of the family's. My mom actually knew him since, I think she said she was 14 or so. And he came from a huge family. So everybody pretty much knew everyone. And so he was the handyman, basically, for all of us friends. He would come and help with simple projects or big projects.
5 years old is pretty young. I know that myself included, I was 9 years old when I was first sexually abused. It took me until my 20s to really discover that and be willing to admit that it was, sexual abuse. And so how old were you when you began to realize that, I have been harmed, I've been victimized sexually? How long did it take you to realize that?
At a very, very young age, because it continued. It wasn't just a one time. Unfortunately, I was 8 or 9 when it stopped, finally.
Did you say no?
No, I think, so he had, I wasn't raped, but he had crossed the line where he was getting very inappropriate with me. And I guess I finally showed him signs with just the way my demeanor, the way I looked at him, because I would always look away. I would never look at him. So after that incident, I guess when he actually saw me. That was it. That was the end of that. And then we moved from Long Island to Texas, and that was the end of that. I never heard from him. But then later, as an adult, I realized that he was attacking other young girls, other children, around the same time he was attacking me.
How does that make you feel?
Very angry.
Now that he has been arrested, do you have regrets that you didn't speak out?
I mean, I'll be honest with you, Stacy, I do, in the sense that being the oldest, and I felt like I could help or prevent anything from happening to my siblings, and even my family cousins that I grew up with. There is a part of me that I regret not saying anything, so I could have stopped it from obviously getting so huge.
Where were you when you saw your perpetrator's face again for the first time after all of these years. Your teens have passed, you're into your 20s, young adult, you're in married life. Explain that to me, how he resurfaced again.
It was actually when my sister came to visit, and she asked me, did you receive our cousin's message? And I asked her, no, what is it? And she said, oh, well, never mind. And I said, well, now you're going to have to show me. She said, okay. And so she showed me, and it was a picture of the news report. This is huge in Charleston, North Carolina, that he had been arrested.
Well, and I think what we've discovered is that for some reason we all think that the perpetrator looks like the registered sex offender or the pedophile that we see in the orange jumpsuit or black and white stripe or whatever they wear. But the truth is, it could literally be a cousin or a babysitter or a next door neighbor or a family friend. And I'm sure in the ER that you do see a lot of that going on in different people's lives that come in.
Yes, yes. And I have a few really, really close friends. They're call them my sisters they are certified sexual assault nurses. And at the time when I learned about the certification, I wanted all in. I wanted to be able to help. And unfortunately at that time, it was just not the time. And it was one of those things that I felt bad that I couldn't help in that sense. But I guess God knew that there was something else in store for me in the future. So not to, lose hope that I was going to be able to help.
How was dating? How was your teenage years? Did that come out? If we push something down inside of us, it usually comes out in other ways. Did it come out in alcohol? Did it come out in food or drugs or sex? How did you cope with what was buried?
We grew up as a Christian family, so I think it helped a lot. In the sense, once I was 12, once I was 12 or so, I realized if I don't do something about this or just leave it in God's hands, it's going to ruin me. It's going to ruin me. But I will say that, I've made mistakes. But I have to say I was pretty mature at a very young age. Mm-hmm. And so I realized, it happened, it's done. You can't change it. So just, stay focused with your goals. It's over and done with. And we didn't have alcohol growing up in our house. My parents don't drink, they don't smoke. Actually, my parents are pastors in Houston.
Oh, wow.
So there's a lot of praying at home, and although it would irritate me at times, I'm not gonna lie, because with everything that was happening to me, we have God in this house. Why is this happening?
I was just you took the words out of my mouth. That's the Holy Spirit moving amongst us, because I was fixing to say to you, then how do you explain to people watching this that will say, why does God allow that to happen? What's your answer to them? Because I know you got something powerful to say.
I believe we all go through some tough times in our lives. It could be this, or it could be anything else that really breaks us. But what breaks us makes us even stronger once everything's glued back to those pieces. And so again, as a young girl, I was pretty mature and took that right away as I'm going to be a tool for another person, or not a tool, but an example to others that we can move forward. We can surpass
a testimony.
Yes. A testimony that can help somebody that's been through something similar, be able to see, yes, there's hope.
Do you find yourself, I know now with Younique, do you find yourself sitting down with women? You know, sometimes we use makeup because we're trying to hide something we don't want people to see. Sometimes we use it because it makes us feel beautiful and we want to look our best. Do you find yourself just sitting down one-on-one, sharing this makeup and people opening up their heart to you and you being able to share that testimony?
Well, since we do everything online, I've had a few clients come to the house and we've played with my products, but I do share with them why I share these products, not just because I love them and, you know, what it's done for me, but because of what we stand for. Mm-hmm. And so a lot of them, they didn't know at all that, you know, what these products, what they were doing, for these women that really they need it. You know, it's these type of cases, it really can destroy someone's future. And so now we have, you know, fortunately we have places where they are able to attend, and like the Younique Foundation, they have that as an option. And I will say that in the ER, I've mentioned it a couple of times to patients, a few patients have were vulnerable with me and shared their story because they didn't know where to go, or they're just done.
Isn't it amazing? Because the minute that you open up with one person, there's just another person right around the corner that usually says, hey, let me share something with you. And before you know it, you've got two survivors bouncing off each other, their thoughts, and being able to, you know, share their testimonies with one another and help build each other up and encourage one another.
Yes.
So I know that you have people messaging you on Facebook. How can they get a hold of you? Do you want to give your email address? Do you have a page, or are you working just a regular page on Facebook?
It's a regular page. It's actually Leslie Melendez Mikus on Facebook, or leslie.mikus@gmail.com.
Okay. Yeah, we'll share your Gmail. I know there will be somebody else out there that you know, this will definitely touch home with. Where are you going from here? Like, what are you, because I know when we all come out with our story, then we're like, Lord, what can I do now to help inspire some people?
Yes, you are nonstop, I will say.
What do you want to do now?
My goal is to bring awareness. I actually just had some really good friends at the house, and I shared with her this, that after I shared my story in December, it was like, you can't hold me down now. I have to get it.
No stop.
Yeah, I have to go. I have to keep moving. And my goal is to help families, parents, to sit down and talk to their children.
So you want to create some sort of dialogue to share. Let's talk about sexual abuse.
Right. So actually with the Younique Foundation, they now have it's the same foundation, but it's called DefendInnocence.org. And
DefendInnocence.org.
And on that page, you will find a lot of material of how to speak to your children from ages 2 to teenagers.
And I'm sure that the content's age appropriate so that you're not scaring a 2-year-old and you're not freaking out a 16-year-old, but it is important you talk as they grow and share with them what's important, what's inappropriate.
Exactly.
Well, Leslie, I want to thank you for sitting down with me. You know, I always like to share. I think it's so important. A lot of times the society and the media, they feed us the registered sex offender, the pedophile, the molester story. It's important to see the heart of survivors and that we're thriving and that we're laughing and that we're helping other people. So I like to always end my interview with one question. I want you to finish this for me. I am
strong, I am beautiful, and I am a survivor.